We're going to move on, guys, to what's coming up, right? We've got, obviously, from the Arsenal game, we've got some potential injuries. We've got Maddison is having a scan today. We are not entirely sure about Brennan Johnson, whether it's muscle fatigue or a proper hammy problem. If it's a hammy problem, he's out for maybe 2 months. If it's a fatigue, he's going to be out anyway. Look, we just have to hope that Sonny and Maddison are fit. But in a world where we do have some injuries that are popping up, I know you two are, as far as I'm aware, the most passionate followers of our youth system, the guys who coined the phrase Tottenham's class of 91, 92.
92.
And look, we played again last night against Stoke, 2-0 winners. Jamie Donnelly smashed it once again. The guy's out of control with his form. We've got a lot of talent there. And so the question for me to you guys is, are any of these kids ready to step up in a world where we need them in the first team right now or at some point this season? Or is the gap too big between the PL2 and the Premier League to really gauge them, and these high performers need to go out on loan next season and we won't really see the benefits of it until 25, 26 year? I'll start with you, Dave.
You only know when you know. You only know when you know, right? Until you put them in it. I mean, Jamie Donnelly's got 7 goals and 5 assists in the game so far this season. He is your standout right now, is your standout player. I would say probably him and Ashley Phillips. I think Ashley Phillips is going to be an incredible player. Are we preparing long-term for Romero going? Probably. Romero probably gets sold for 60, 70 million pound. And then who's going to step in? Potentially an Ashley Phillips to play alongside Mickey van der Ven. That would be my guess. But when you look at the players like Alfie Divine, who has got bags and bags of talent, but wasn't deemed ready, or there was going to be space for him, right now, we could have done with Alfie Divine potentially on Saturday, funny enough. Can you imagine him coming on and providing some of those through balls and some of those assists? I think he could have offered us something. So for me, I don't believe Jamie Donnelly, even though with 7 goals and 5 assists, is an out number 9.
Yeah, what is he?
I don't know.
We've seen him play right, left, centre, 10, 8, 9.
I think he's more of an attacking midfielder, a number 10 potentially. I don't know where he's going to end up. I've got to be honest with you. But for me, it would be right now, Jamie Donnelly and Ashley Phillips. I thought you were a little chappy. I didn't.
I'm closer to 6'2", but I round it down because my weight's made me haunt over a little bit.
Julian, that is in his 6'6" heels, mate. Don't take too much notice. No, but I would say we got so much talent. I mean, we could, Dave and I could go on and wax lyrical about the bundles of talent that are in that the setup. Susop Bell is scoring goals for fun. But do we need a striker right now? No, because we got Veliz and we got Son and we got Richarlison. So for me, it would be Ashley Phillips and Donnelly just now. They would be the only two right now. Love the goalkeeper Keeley, so when Foster goes, he could come in. But Dave, what are you thinking?
Look, I think for me, there's 4 or 5 standouts that I think there will be an opportunity to present itself. You look at, I just want to go on what you were saying about Alfie Divine being loaned out. Right? I sort of agree with you, but also, for me, there's not going to be that many minutes here for him this year, and I think it does make sense to loan him out and get him playing week in, week out. And the reason why is, right, you look at the amount of contracts we've got coming to an end. Hugo Lloris at the end of this season, Fraser Forrester, Brandon Austin. So you'd like to think Josh Keeley will probably get the call up, right, as a number 2, maybe even potentially as a number 3. Then you go into, other players on the outfield situation: Eric Dyer, Perisic, Højbjerg, Ryan Sessegnon, Ben Davies, Lo Celso, Ndombele, Joe Rodon, Japhet Tanganga, Reguilon, Parrott. Right, all them contracts are coming up to an end over the next 2 years, and a lot of them are players that people want out in the club.
Correct.
And So for me, I think when you look at what Tottenham have done in terms of recruitment, lowering the average age of the first team, a lot of the recruitment under 25, and the amount of money we're pumping into the youth academy, not only by bringing players in, but also by changing the wage structure to be able to get a lot of them to sign on.
Correct.
It's clear we are going through a youth-eccentric model, and that's the model we want to take us forward on the next step. That looks like that's the vision of the football club. So when you clear all them players out, you're talking about, what, 10, 11, 12 players there? That frees up a lot of spaces in the squad. And I think the reason why we didn't loan out a lot of that under 21 that we currently have right now is because I think some of them will be used to fill out the squad next season when we do have European football.
But how many for now, Dave? How many for now? The thing is,
you won't see. I don't think you'll see much. I don't think you'll see much come through now, Johnny. But you look at that under 21 team, right? They're on the young side of 21. A lot of them are only 18. A lot of them played in the under 18 cup final last year. So there is no actual real rush to send them out on loan right now either. But I think what we're looking at is they've played in more or less the exact same system as our senior team, bar the inverted sort of fullback role.
Right.
I think what the club are looking at is they're going to look at these guys and they're going to say, right, what ones can we think can come in and fill out the squad? And then what positions do we need to spend our money on? And then the ones that won't fill out the squad, then they'll be loaned out to continue to develop. But for me, I think that's the plan. I think Jamie Donnelly is shoo-in for a call-up either towards the end of this year or the start or for next season. I think Sunsup Bell, I get, these two are seen as strikers. But when you go back and look what they've done for the under-21s, Sunsup Bell plays on the right-hand side. Should have had a goal last night. Absolutely phenomenal. Didn't look out of place against a Colchester senior team that Tottenham Hotspur failed to beat under Pochettino with the likes of Dyer, Davies, Young, people like that. Jamie Donnelly, people see him as a striker. That guy, a lot of injuries for under 21s last year, plays centre midfield, right, left, cam, and forward line. And when you look at what Postecoglou wants in his first team, versatility, some of them players are already shown that they have that versatility, that they can play in multiple positions. And then, of course, you've got Dorrington and Phillips. Yes, we're short at centre-back, but I firmly believe that you look at Romero, Van de Ven, I think we might add one more to that come January or next summer. You'll have them for the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years before they end up turning 30 years of age. By that time, you should have Phillips and Dorrington developed along with the new guy, Vuskovic, and hopefully then have them coming through. So,
but the thing, Dave, I agree with everything you're saying. But what we're asking here is who of the under 21s is ready to step up if needed now? I agree with you. I think the future is so bright in the next 18 months. We got so much coming through. It's incredible. And agree when these contracts coming in, these guys coming in. But is there anyone now? I personally can only see 2 players right now that if injuries prevailed, that would potentially have an option. And one of them is Donnelly. And one of them is Phillips. And potentially Sunsup Bell, from the fact that if we get more injuries up front, potentially that he can play up on the wing there. But can you think of anyone else, or would you say that?
It's not going to be Alejo Veliz, is it? We saw Alejo Veliz against Colchester, and
give him
his
time.
finishing
Give
was.
him time.
His finishing
give
was.
him time.
No, of course, yeah.
20 minutes, 20 minutes, Sean. Come on.
No, I know. I'm just saying that he's not, like, from what I've seen, he's not ready to
Watch
step
him
up.
in the air, boy. Watch him in the air.
Well, but we haven't got anyone that can cross the ball.
That's the problem.
We haven't got anyone, have we? That's why I think that Perisic's injury is the only person that's as upset about Perisic's injury as Perisic is probably Richarlison, because Richarlison he's got a touch of he's got like a brick foot. He can't. I was about to say something, but I'm not going to say it. But yeah, I just feel like Veliz is. He's
got a touch of the Russell Brand. He's got a touch of Russell Brand, right?
Allegedly. Yeah.
Johnny, can I just ask a quick question? Where was Phillips last night?
I'm not sure. Well, you see, what I don't understand is he travelled with the first team, to Arsenal. So why was he behind Dyer? Dyer was on the bench and Phillips wasn't. And by the way, again, Dyer wasn't seen celebrating after the final whistle. Dyer wasn't one of those players running off the bench at the final goal scored against Sheffield United. GTF, out the door, man. Out the door. I'd rather play with Phillips, even though he's 18, doesn't have a lot of experience, but I think he's going to be a beast. I would rather play with him, let him make a couple of mistakes, and try and bed him in along with Romero, Johnny? Covering. Not Romero, Emerson Royal playing right centre back if necessary. Go on, sorry.
No, sorry, buddy. I should let you finish your point. I spent a lot of time getting ridiculed on back on Sava's show a while back, and then I took it to Twitter about the pre-Man United game. If someone had to step up for Man United, would it be Eric Dyer or would it be Ash Phillips? And everyone unanimously went, or basically consensus was Ash Phillips. And I was like, you guys, this is crazy, the disrespect. And then obviously I put it to Twitter. And then it was the same result, a little bit less, but still consistent theme. And I was like, am I missing something here?
Yeah.
Maybe I am, probably. Right? Maybe I am. Maybe my head's leading my heart, but maybe my head is just leading me in the wrong direction.
You
as well.
like pointing. Listen.
I just know that Eric Dyer at least. Okay, I know he's got a mistake in him. I know he's not someone we want anymore, but I'd rather that than someone who I don't have any clue if he's good enough. And I'm sorry, I still stand by it that nobody knows if Ash Phillips, because I don't, you two might spend your time watching Blackburn Rovers under 21s, but most Tottenham fans don't, right? So I think that this argument is, but yeah, he played like, I think the guys played the grand total of 1,700 minutes in first team football, and that includes England under 17s and stuff. So I just don't think many people had seen him. I get the argument that we've seen enough of Dyer to know what we don't want. I get it. But anyway, my point is that I've actually shifted, not because I'm, getting peer pressured into it, but listening to Mickey van der Ven after the Arsenal game saying what I love about he calls him our trainer rather than our coach or manager. It's so sweet. What I love about our trainer is that he encourages us, even if we make a mistake, to not worry about it and to stick to the principle. And that in and of itself gives you the confidence that it doesn't matter. If you make obviously you're not trying to make a mistake, but if you do make a mistake, you're not going to get absolutely murdered for it. Afterwards by the trainer, he's going to encourage you to keep going and keep doing it, or Eric Dyer, right? And I think that, obviously we're all guilty. I'm guilty now of somewhat resetting expectations for the season. Every time we get a good result, I'm like, do you know what? 3 weeks ago, a month ago, 6 weeks ago, I was like, just finish top half and have a good cup run and play good football and build. But now I am sitting there going, you know what? You got to look at the teams around you and go, we're Newcastle aren't better than us. Villa aren't better than us. There's an argument to say whether or not Arsenal are. Like, why can't we go and do this? But at the same time, now that I hear this commendation that comes from our players around our managers' encouragement to keep going with the system, even if you make mistakes, then maybe, just maybe, if Ash Phillips had to come in and was deputized and would make the mistakes that he would make, it wouldn't cripple his confidence, which is what my fear was. You throw him in the deep end. If he struggles, does that destroy the guy's confidence too early, too soon? But under this coach, under Ange, I think that wouldn't happen. I think that he would be applauded for continuing with the philosophy, even in spite or in the face of mistakes that are going to happen. And that therefore I've changed my opinion that now, screw Eric Dyer, let's bring on the Ash Phillips train. Dave, we
can't be afraid to give these guys opportunities, And the reason why I say that, you look at Destiny Adoji, look how he stood up so far this season. Papa Matasar, some of the youngest members of our squad, look how they've adapted to life in the Premier League when given the opportunity. And that's all some of these guys need. You look at the likes of Eric Dyer, he's had his time. He's cost Tottenham time and time again. And what Ange Postecoglou has come here and done, I do hear a lot of people blaming previous managers in years gone by. Okay, fair enough. There's a degree to that. What about the quality of the players that we've had to use as well? They keep escaping criticism and everything else. And for me, I think we have to accept they've had their chance. They're not good enough. We've done recruitment. We've gone youth with the recruitment. We've brought younger. We've lowered the average age of the squad, and we're better. You look at what Brighton do, right? Brighton give their youngsters opportunities. That's why they're selling players on for hundreds of £1 million. Evan Ferguson, was he loaned out?
Yeah.
No.
Pathway to the first team is crucial for that system to work.
Colwell, they took off Chelsea Academy. Look at them now. Lamptey, they took off Chelsea Academy. Look at them now. Sometimes you just have to give the guys an opportunity to go out and flourish. And a lot of them players I've spoke about, players that Spurs fans are saying, go and sign. But my point is, you don't need to go and waste money on them guys because you've got players in the academy that you can call up. And I'll be honest, the group I'm seeing now, and the reason why I'm talking so much about them is because it's the best group I've seen in my time at Tottenham Hotspur. The very best group. Exactly. And for me, you don't want to waste that. You've got to bring them through. And if you can have players that have come through the academy into the first team, it stops all this nonsense about homegrown because that's there every single season. And then also, you will not see dressing rooms being the way we've seen it the last few years. You will not see that because you've got players that have come through this club, only know Tottenham Hotspur, love this club, and you will see a team out there that will fight for you while they're here. And that's all I want as a fan. And for me, if you can get more through, the better, in my opinion. I just think I've washed my hands with the likes of giving Dyer and Sanchez and all them people opportunities. For me, give it to Dorrington, give it to Ashley Phillips.
The thing is,
I've updated my opinion on that. So
if Conte was here, if Conte was here and Paratici was gone, right, this club would be a frigging mess right now. I'm telling you now. Half the kids would have left, right? No one would have been given a chance. And, things have changed. Things have turned around. We need a pathway. Brighton, we were talking about challenges. Right, Brighton are a serious team. Right, everyone who's just dismissing them.
No, don't dismiss them. They'll finish in the Champions League unless Europe throws them off. I think Brighton will.
They the coaches, De Zerbi's done an amazing job. Paul Barber and recruitment and the succession plan. We had Paul Barber, probably the best COO in football out there, and Levy let him go. What a huge mistake that was. Our loss, Brighton's game, and Tony Bloom and him, have done an incredible job. And their succession plan for everything that they do. They have a succession plan for Paul Barber. They have a succession.
They've got a succession plan for social media, mate.
Yeah, everything.
You know what? They've got some girl who's like 24 years old who runs their social media team. If she doesn't perform, they know who the next kid. That's how detailed this data system is. It doesn't just start and stop with football. Everybody in that organization is being analyzed on their KPIs and whether they're hitting them. And if they're not, they figured out who the right person is.
Well, there's loyalty as well. Mad. It's not just data driven. Data is the first stop, because otherwise, we would have a situation. Let's put it like this: and Donnelly would not happen now under Ange. Yeah. Because or under the guys even before Ange, because they would have looked at him, they would have identified him on X, Y, and Z, but then he failed. He would have failed. Any look into Donnelly's background in his application would have told you he's not right for this club. And when you look at Brighton, as I say, they only sell when they've got someone to recruit. So this is what I'm saying. I expect Romero to be sold within the next 18 months to 2 years. Okay.
Really?
And yeah, I do. I think he will move on. I don't think they'll want to sell him. I think he will just go on. But then we have a succession plan, because what do we have? We have Phillips, and we have Dorrington, and we have the Croatian guy. Then we look in midfield. If we were to lose Maddison, for example, I don't know. We've got Divine. We've got. What I'm saying here is there is a succession plan. If you continue to recruit.
Do you still believe though that the loan system? I guess this is the crunch, right? When was the last time a loan system worked out? Absent Pape Sarr, but I don't think Pape Sarr's loan was really very beneficial for him. But giving him that year under our tutelage or in our contract,
destroyed. Can you imagine him a year under Conte? He wouldn't be.
Oh, right. So I don't. Well, okay. So, but I don't think Pape Sarr didn't. Where did he go? Was it Auxerre? Was it? Is that where he went? I forget where he went. Somewhere in France.
No, he went back to Metz, didn't he?
Metz.
Oh, Metz. You're right. Sorry, he didn't. He barely played. But obviously, we're now seeing the benefit of him materialising. Obviously, Destiny Udogie wasn't loaned out somewhere in the Premier League. He was just remained where he was. So I don't know if those two examples are good examples to use. But apart from that, like all of the other youth that we're bringing through that have been loaned out, what was the last one that was beneficial? Ollie Skip. I mean, Dane Scarlett hasn't done anything. He didn't set up the light. He didn't set any world of light at Portsmouth. And where is he now? Is he Ipswich? No.
The thing is, look,
Ipswich now?
Chelsea have ruined everything, right? Because they try and bend the rules for everything, right? So first of all, they had 32 players out on loan. So they were buying everybody, sending them all out on loan like a farm, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we'll sell them all off, make a load of money. We'll buy everyone who's talented. We'll send them all out on loan. We'll bring them back and we'll flog them, right? So now
and it works wonderfully well for FFP, mate. But I've been saying it since Todd Bowley came in.
But for us, no, I'm talking about pre-Todd. I'm talking about way before Todd Bowley.
Oh, okay, back in the day. Yeah.
I'm talking about, and it's because of Chelsea breaking the law, not breaking the law, but basically pushing the
manipulation
of what's reasonable, that UEFA decided to change the law and reduce it to 8, then 7 this year, and next year it's 6. And then Chelsea's breaking the law with something else, right? With the thing. So loans are going to become more difficult. Yeah, you can still loan your academy players out, but I think there's,
they should bring back reserve team football, or they should increase the age, or they should do something, because the gap between the PL2 and the PL is so big.
Not now
that you can't learn too much about these kids at that level, right? And so you send them out on loan, and unless you have teams that play your specific system, and how many championship teams play Ange ball or Pep Guardiola ball? Not many. So
that's where you should be using the European market. That's where the European market comes into it. Holland, for instance, would be a great place to get some of your players out.
You can only loan 6 overseas. It's a nightmare. That's what I mean. The rules are ridiculous.
But that's why the under-21's has been revamped to make it more to simulate as near as possible playing a full Premier League season and having the cups, right? So there's more teams in it, is more competitive, and it gives more of a feel for these players. The one thing I must say, back in the day, it seemed like everyone at Spurs, whoever he was training, had their own system. Unlike when Arsene Wenger was at Arsenal or at Ajax, for example, you can play at Ajax at 12 and you'll still be playing the same system by the time you get to 18.
And that's what we have at Tottenham now, right?
So when you get called up, is nothing different. And Spurs never did that, but we are doing that now, whereby they're all playing, as you said, Ange ball, but without the inverted wingers at the moment.
Yeah.
But the loan system is a difficult one to manipulate. I mean, Joe Rodon, with the greatest respect, he's out at Leeds. I hope he does well, but he's never going to play for me, for our team. Never. I think Jed Spence, if he can get himself sorted, is probably the only one of those. I don't see Parrott doing anything, although he did score a good goal the other last week. Yeah, nice goal. But you can be wrong.
What I will say is, though, I think a large part to our start for the under-21s this year is because of the way we play football. So I remember watching an academy game with you against Leicester, right? And it was woeful, right? There was no challenges, there was no one pressing. It was very, laid back, sort of, like a training session. But the reason why Tottenham have got off to a good start, and you look at, for instance, the 5-0 humbling of Man City and the one of, other teams like that, is because the way we're playing football, the relentless pressing nature. If anyone watched that game last night, watch Donnelly all game long. Press. Yeah. And other under-21 teams don't want that. They're not used to that. So our football is absolutely what is dominating, is the energy we're showing in them under-21 games. But, people say, oh, well, then that's not a good indictment of our team. But then you look at the under-21s who went out and smashed Colchester in the Football League trophy there last week. We had the likes of Dyer, Session, Sanchez, people like that, Davies, struggled. Gedson Fernandez struggled against them under Pochettino, and we lost to them on penalties. But yet the under-21s we've got now went out and absolutely smacked them up. They couldn't even get into the game. They couldn't even keep possession to get into the game. So the way we're playing from the under-21s, when they now come up to the senior team, they're not being asked to completely change the style of football or change the way they've been playing. They already have a grasp of it. So when they step up now, it's literally, do they have the talent and the mentality to proceed forward? For instance, Donnelly, right? You don't need to teach him the work rate. He's got it. You don't need to teach him the technique. He's got it. You don't need to teach him how to pass a ball or finish a ball. You look at his stats. They speak for themselves. What you do need, though, is to give him the opportunity to see if he has that mentality to take it and implement it on the big stage when there's big crowds sitting there looking at you. You know, when you're going into away games where the crowds aren't for you, that's the big difference. Do you have the mentality? And that is what will aid our pathway into the first team.